Hello and welcome to the 5th Trooper Network Holiday Special. My name is Jay Shalansky, and joining me today is a ton of people, so let's get them introduced one at a time. Dash from Notorious Scoundrels.
Hey, everybody.
Kyle / Orchimedes from Notorious Scoundrels.
Hello.
Evan from the 5th Trooper Podcast.
Hey, how's it going?
And we have Mike Cirillo, otherwise known as Ghost Walking.
How's it going?
And we have Zach Berry, otherwise known as Thrawn.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
It's going great. So this is our holiday special. For those of you who are listening, we are currently right now on the Notorious Scoundrels podcast feed. This is part 1. We will have part 2 on the 5th Trooper podcast. And then also throughout both episodes, we're going to be actually hearing from the rest of the community. So we went out and tried to reach as many of the community members as we can to come on and say a little something to you guys about the holidays. So we'll be peppering those throughout the show. And, we reached out to as many as we can. And for those that you'll hear. And for those that you didn't, they tried and we just couldn't get it scheduled. So that's that. So what's up, everybody? What are you guys hoping is going to happen for Christmas? Wait, let's start with Dash. Tell me, Dash, what are you looking forward to for Christmas?
What am I looking forward to for Christmas? I am looking forward to getting Iden Versio sometime in 2022.
Yikes. Big oof.
But I'm very excited about it.
Germany will get her next year. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I'll just have to fly out there.
But in all seriousness, I'm extremely excited about the new Iden and Cassian stuff that got previewed. Hopefully it doesn't take that long, but I'm sure that once it does get here, it will be absolutely fantastic. I think it said Q1 in the article, so it would be great if it was in time for Worlds. I would love to try and put those characters on the table for that. But anyways, I guess my Christmas wish is that it is here in time for Worlds.
Yeah, I guess too that if half the stuff that we've been A, waiting for, and B, the new announcements all hits in time for Worlds, that is going to be a crazy Worlds.
Yeah, for sure.
It's all listed for Q1, so I mean, I guess that's possible. Now that might be before the delays, but
Well, yeah. So with Worlds being at the end of the month, you could see some potential releases, like if it's the first week of the month, right, or within the first 12 days, it'd be legal for Worlds.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Iden and Cassian are going to shake it up nearly as much as Vital Assets will.
Yeah.
And I think if that drops before Worlds, it's gonna be crazy and fantastic.
Especially if that's the first drop of like of March, right? Like right before Worlds, like you got 12 days to practice with it and figure out.
That'd be my dream. The dream.
A dream? I don't know. I feel my blood pressure and anxiety going up immensely.
Yeah, that sounds like the nightmare before Christmas.
Speak for yourselves. I'm all for people not having any clue what's going on. It sounds amazing.
Well, you want 45-minute setup times every game?
Absolutely. It's better than 2 hours.
All right. Well, okay. Speaking of 45-minute setup times, Kyle, what are you looking forward to?
I'm just looking for another fun year of Legion. I think even like just what we have previewed in the first quarter, obviously Mike talked about Vital Assets and Iden, but just all the other stuff. I'm super excited about the operatives, Luke and Vader. I've obviously been running around with Jedi Luke, enjoying myself. So I'm excited for him. And I'm just excited to spend another year hanging out with you guys and all my other fun Legion friends. So,
well,
the wholesome answer.
That's so nice.
We can only go down from there.
So, all right. So, Zach, let's move on to you. What are you most thankful for in Legion? Like, what's the thing you're like, oh man, this is what I'm thankful for about Legion?
I think it's
all great.
It always comes down to new units, and the reason why I bring that up is for the longest time, I've been a little bit down on Rebels, as we may know. The Tauntauns running around have taken my lust away from them. But with Cashin his announcement is huge for me.
Hang on, I'm sorry. Who?
Okay, I know I said this so weird. I don't know why. But Cassian
Cash
is
in, baby.
yeah, Cashin.
Spell it. Spell it.
Cassian. But Cassian Andor is like a top 5 character for me in Star Wars, and it makes me excited for Rebels again. And now I'm going to have the problem of switching between clones and Rebels, and that's a good problem to have when playing a game. I don't necessarily want to put clones on the table every game. I don't necessarily want to put Rebels on the table every game, and having those great options and new units going forward is fantastic. So I'm thankful for that. And this, Legion is a bit, how do I want to put this? They, FFG gets a little bit excited with their, announcements and stuff like that, but it's, it's Star Wars. We all get excited when we see it. Hopefully, the delays don't continue, but it is what it is. We'll get it when we get it.
All right. Evan, my trash panda. What do you love about Legion,
Yep.
buddy?
Well, I actually love the fact that I can make a Hoth army now, and it's like legitimately okay. I'm looking forward to the new releases. I'd like to see. So we got the operative Vader Luke coming. I'd like to see operative other units, maybe like Leia, to bring her back in the game for a different version, or units like that. Perhaps with, I don't know, Hoth themed outfits, so I can just put them in my army and I don't have to use alt sculpts. That'd be pretty dope. But right now I'm having a good time just playing Rebels. I know I was hard on clones, but until I get some new stuff, they're just kind of a little dry until new stuff comes out.
I love that you sound like you're in a trash can right now. That's my favorite part of this.
Do I?
A little bit.
Is it that bad?
No,
All
it's
right.
fine. It's perfect for you. It's your home. It's okay.
It's my home, he says.
So, Mike, ghost walking. What do you love about Legion?
I love being able to travel. I've never been able to travel before in my life. So all of next year, I'll be in Vegas, Chicago, and Syracuse. So like every corner of the country.
Were you not allowed
Just to go
before?
around. Yes, we'll go with that answer. Wasn't in the cards, but it's kind of cool to explore the country and just throw dice and push little figures around a table and hang out with friends.
Well,
So I'm very much looking
Agreed.
forward to that.
look at that. Look at you guys. Very wholesome. So let's take a second here and hear from the rest of the community.
Hi, my name is Brad, also known as Nerfly Online. I am a streamer. I am a part of Team Relentless, and I am also a map maker for the Invader League. When it comes to Legion, I love this game more than pretty much any game in recent memory for me. The combination of turn-based tactics in this style of game, playing with the actual miniatures on the table in a face-to-face environment whenever I can, the very friendly community, and most importantly for me, Star Wars is really what drew me to this game, what made me love Legion so much. I was a big fan of games like XCOM, even Civ 5, just for Axis titles, kind of in that kind of turn-based style, so when Legion came around, I got hooked immediately and jumped on in. It also very uniquely scratches an itch for creative outlets for me. I get to do a little graphics work around the community, and for map building, this game scratches it in a way that I haven't had a game scratch that kind of creative itch since Forge in the Halo games. Thanks to the TTS mod, where I can just kind of grab a whole bunch of terrain, mess around, create these cool maps. And then that's also inspired me to start doing that in real life as well on Hobby Table and refine those skills, which has been an interesting challenge for me. Main things I'm thankful for in Legion is really just the people that I've met and spent time with, either at conventions or through the Discord or on TTS. Those memories that are being made even on a daily basis sometimes, and especially at those large events, I'm going to carry with me forever, and these friendships feel extremely rock solid. The community is friendlier than most any gaming community I've ever been a part of, and that just saturates all the way down to the level and makes me want to keep coming back and keep playing more Legion. Christmas list. 2 things. 1, Operative Vader is actually legitimately on my Christmas list right now. If he comes out before then, I'm probably going to snag him myself, but he's still on the list. And then for future releases of what I hope might come out, man, I really want to see Ahsoka Tano. Really, really bad. I know Mike's a big fan of that too. I want to see her in her Rebels version. I want to see her in her Clone Wars version. I just can't wait to see the different kind of poses and what she's going to be able to do as a character.
Hello, cadets and commanders. This is Ryan from the Stabcast. If you're not familiar, we are one of the oldest and least frequently produced podcasts. You can find us at SW Stabcast all over the internet, wherever you get better podcasts. Man, this going into this holiday season, a year and a half, almost 2 years of Legion, it has stuck with me on how much I love this game for a variety of reasons. The incredible terrain we get to play on, the dynamic rules that are always shifting, the moving metagame, and the idea that you're never going to play the same game of Legion twice really helps keep it fresh, even for somebody like me who just plays single faction. And that just keeps me coming back to Legion over and over and over again. And I'm super thankful for Legion for having the best, hands down, wargaming community that I've ever been a part of, let alone seen. It's been so much fun to get to know the community members over the years. I've never gone to a tournament and had a bad time. I've had one game of Legion that was not fun in almost 2 years. It's just incredible events. We get the best tables, the best terrain, and events all over the country. You can find a Legion event near you probably once a month within an hour, 2 hour drive, hopefully, no matter where you live in the country. And show me another war game that has such a diverse roster of units, strategies, and different ways that you can express how you want to play the game. And that to me is probably the coolest thing that Legion has managed to do. And going into Life Day, I guess my wish list for 3PO Claws is I want more battle cards, man. I want some more cards to keep changing up that metagame and keep the competitive stuff fresh. I want a rebel tank that's kind of a heavy unit instead of a speeder that flies around. I'm selfish. I want something to hold down the center of a battlefield for my rebels, and I want to find a way. And I know this is a reach for 3PO Claws. I want a way for Rebel Pathfinders not to be terrible. I know that's a stretch and that's a long way to go, but we'll see what we can have happen. So thank you guys for listening to The Fifth Trooper, and have a happy Life Day.
I'm Mboyha. You can call me Ben of Team Relentless, and I make the Playbook YouTube series, which tries to teach you how to do something very specific in Legion a little bit better than maybe you already do it. So the short version of why I love Legion is because I love Star Wars and I love strategy games. But the longer version is that when I was a kid, I used to play the Star Wars collectible card game by Decipher, and it actually played quite a significant role in shaping who I am today and the way that I view other people. And I really view Star Wars Legion as a continuation of that very formative experience I had as a young person in my friendly local gaming store in Walla Walla, Washington, North Star Comics, doing something I'd never done before and really growing greatly as a person because of that. I'm very thankful for the Legion community. I would not still be playing Star Wars Legion if it weren't for the community and the positive relationships that I've been able to make with other people who play the game and other content creators. It's been a joy to be a part of Team Relentless and to be able to talk with so many other great players of the game and lovers of the game as well. Being involved in the Discord with Invader League and the Yavin Base Team League have been wonderful, and the responses that I've been getting to the Playbook YouTube series have very much encouraged me to continue to stay active in this community and enjoy it as a hobby, but also as a way to connect with other people who care greatly for good things like Legion. My Legion Christmas list is STAPS. I want single trooper aerial platforms for my droid army Many people know that I love repulsor vehicles, especially the 74Z speeder bikes, and I think steps would be attractive on the board, super fun to play, and I think it'd be really cool if there were like 3 to 4 models per unit to get the droid swarm feel, and something like defense or agile keywords to help get them timely dodges and make them feel kind of hard to shoot, kind of sort of glass cannon repulsor vehicles for the droids. That's my wish list.
So yeah, so that was some of our other community friends out there. We tried to get Kingsley for this too, but it took him 45 minutes to set up his mic, so we just passed.
Jeez.
Just kidding, buddy. Seriously though. Okay, so let's talk about this. So we're all heading into hell months, right? We got 3 months left or so until Worlds. All of us here on this cast today all have Worlds tickets. What are you guys? We'll do two questions, I guess. The first one is, what are you the most nervous about? And I will start with Mike / Ghostwalking.
Oh, I'm nervous about picking a faction. I have absolutely no idea what I would like to play, and figuring out what I want to do and actually getting it painted in time is giving me a little bit of anxiety. And we've still got 3 months to go.
Okay.
I was originally going to take CIS, and then I've had some bad experiences with getting blown off the table by shore troopers. So now I think I'm going to take shore troopers, but I need to paint my entire Empire army, and that's going to be quite the task.
Oh, if it's anything like you did before Kappa Cup, you had it done in like a week, so you'll be fine.
That was like 36 hours of energy drinks and painting, though. I really don't want to go through that again.
You can do it.
Staying up till 4 a.m.
I think you should wait till the last week because those things looked really good. So you did a good job.
Now, that's probably what I'm nervous about. And then actually just making a good name for myself. There's not going to be any weak links in that tournament. So you're going to be playing top tier competition every game. So you got to represent well. I've never faced something of that caliber.
All right. So just to follow that, I'll get back to the other question for everyone. But to follow that train of thought, at a Worlds event, what do you think is a good showing for anyone who goes? Like, what do you look at someone at their record and you go, you know what? Yeah, you did pretty good. That is a big deal.
I would say if you go 2-2 through 4 games, you at least prove that you belong. I'm aiming for 3-1. I think I have a pretty decent shot of getting at that. But as long as I get 2 wins, I'll be happy with my showing.
Anybody disagree with that?
Not to sound like the pompous jerk of the group, but yeah, I think if you don't make day 2, that's a feel bad. Frankly.
So 3-1. So for those of you who don't know, in the 2 heats going into Worlds, you have to be 3-1 to move to day 2.
Yeah, I feel like that's overly generous, honestly. I mean, to be able to play 4 games and drop a game, I mean, I don't know.
That's interesting. Okay. I could see that on the day 2 because I think that's, well, no. I mean, day 2, how many are coming out of day 2? 4? 8?
8.
4.
Out of 4.
No, 4 coming out of day 2.
Okay,
yeah.
so all right. Well then, yeah, I don't know. 3-1 is interesting to make it to day 2 and 3-1. I don't know. I think.
Yeah, I think.
So interestingly, it's unclear exactly how this is going to work, but at least based on the language in the article this last week, that 1 loss will still continue to hurt you on day 2 because your tournament points is literally what it said in the article, carry over into day 2. So
that's a little weird to me, I think, just because it feels like it should sort of be like a cut.
Yeah, I agree. Like, if you're going to do that, why not just take the undefeateds from the 2 days instead of the 3-1s?
Right. Like, if you're going to take X and 1, everybody should be on a level playing field going into day 2
Right.
instead of like, oh, I'm X and 1. I literally have no chance to make the top 4, basically.
Yeah, it's not super clear, like, how they're, like, are they going to do Swiss pairings the first round again? Like, is this just, 8-round Swiss? It's not super clear how that's going to work. But I was a little confused by the fact that it said your tournament points carry over from day 1 to day 2. It's not really clear what that means in practice.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible we can advocate in the meantime for that not to be the case. It doesn't make a ton of sense.
Yep.
frankly.
Yeah. All right, so let's go with Zach. What are you most nervous about?
A couple things coming to mind, but I have to say it's vital assets. The point being is that like you want to have reps with these new cards, and if it drops at a certain point and you don't get those reps, it's just going to be nerve wracking, and you're not going to know what to bring. You're not going to know what to cut. I mean, you can have a general idea of what you want to bring and what you want to cut, but you could honestly, like, let's say if it comes out like let's say it's even 30 days before Worlds, and I'm being generous here. Even if it's 30 days before Worlds, you know, I have a kid and a wife. It's tough for me to get reps in. So in 30 days, how many good reps am I going to get with vital assets and before World starts? And I have a fear that I won't have the amount of reps with those cards to feel comfortable going to Worlds with those cards, but I'm probably going to need to bring some of them because there's certain cards that don't fit a list that I have too. You know what I mean? So it's going to be an interesting wild card. But I'd say that that's probably the most nervous I am about anything is that if that vital assets comes out right before Worlds and we're scrambling.
Okay. Dash, what about you? What are you most nervous about?
Getting all my stuff painted on time. Mostly, I guess, in time for LVO. I don't think my list is going to substantially change between LVO and Adepticon unless Iden comes out, probably. It's mostly just getting my stuff painted because I hate painting, and we're a year and a half essentially into this game, and I do not have an 800-point army painted presently. So.
Yeah, and LVO is instituting the 3-color rule this year so even though we've been very, like we've always talked about, I think on both podcasts, that one of the nice things about Legion was that it doesn't have a color painting requirement. It's starting to turn out that the larger events are going to have painting requirements, it seems.
Yeah.
Well, it's mostly just Adepticon.
And
LVO's got it too. Yeah, I think the three color minimum is just going to be a standard, like it is kind of in most war games. It was sort of nice before not to have it, but I think we're kind of getting to the point where people are seeing that as a requirement. So that's the thing that I'm most nervous about. I'm not overly nervous about it. It's just a thing on my list that I've got to get done.
All right.
Now, let's be real. You don't want to paint Boss because he made that big save against Kyle at the RPQ.
Oh,
and he was great.
I have all of my Imperial characters painted, actually.
Okay.
I really enjoy painting characters. Like, that's fun to me. I don't like painting stormtroopers and shore troopers and all that jazz. It's kind of bland.
Hey, Zach, you all right?
Yeah, little caveat. I'm sitting in my kid's bed. Mike fell over.
Boom. Sorry. Perfect. Evan, what are you nervous about?
Okay, so I was gonna go like all on clones and just bring whatever came out, but the fact that everything got pushed back, I don't know if I'll have time to get enough reps into play. So I've been just trying to build. So my nervous is like I won't have enough reps with clones to play what I want to play. So I've been falling back on rebels and just trying to make a Hoth themed rebel list that works, and it's hard. So these releases is really what I'm worried about. When is the stuff actually gonna come out? I know there's delays, and I get that, and I'm not pointing fingers, but I do need the pieces in my hands to paint and play them. So I'm just nervous about what I'm actually going to have available for the tournament to come out and what I'm actually going to be able to use.
All right, Kyle.
So this is going to be an amalgamation of what you guys said already. I'm nervous about getting reps in. Like Zach, I have, usually trouble getting as many as I'd want to. So I'm sure I'll end up playing something very similar to just what I'm used to playing because I'm not going to have a lot of time to experiment with new stuff, probably. But that's one. Second is just time limits. That's always my, to the extent that I have any anxiety going into a tournament, it's that I tend to, I always have a 6-turn plan. You guys know that I'm a pretty conservative defensive player. and I like to do a lot of positioning and attrition and stuff, and then think about objectives in the last few turns. But if you don't know when those turns are going to be, it throws a wrench, at least in my playstyle personally. So I know that the time limits will be longer this year, but I think also things are going to take longer. You've got a lot of mechanics with extra tokens and stuff from Clone Wars and, creature troopers and all that just take longer. So it's unclear whether the extended time limits are going to be enough to like guarantee a 6-turn game every time, which is, personally what I would prefer. So that's it for me.
All right. Well, it sounds like just the normal stuff, like reps and painting. It seems like that's what everybody's pretty nervous about. That's good.
Yeah, I mean, I will say that I would like to see a timeline for tournament legality as far as units go that is longer than it is right now. Like, I think right now it's 11 days? Is that the...
Yeah, it's 11 days. Yep.
And I think that's frankly, given the volatility of the release schedule, and it's not something people can count on, I would like to see it be like a month. And I don't think that really messes with things. At least for large events like Adepticon and LVO and things of that nature. Like for an RPQ or a Prime, okay, whatever. It can be 11 days or it doesn't matter. But I think for these big events that really matter, that people are like flying out to, and you've got to do a lot of planning in advance for, I think not being able to count on things happening on a specific date is incredibly important, and it probably should be changed a little bit.
Going off. Go ahead, Gal.
Yeah, I agree with that a lot.
So, yeah, I mean, so do you guys feel like I was thinking about this the other day? I've been thinking a lot about this and LVO coming, and I feel like there's the shorelines and the tons, of course, will be there, but I also feel like at LVO a little less, but for Worlds, if a lot of that stuff comes out in January, February, like I have no idea what to expect for Worlds as far as what I'm going to be up against, and then also like being able to get reps in against stuff that I haven't fully seen on the table, like R2 or clones at their full strength when they get to phase 2 in the tanks. Like you know what I mean? Like there's a ton of stuff that it could be potentially available for Worlds that I think a lot of players out there just aren't going to have experience against.
Kind of piggybacking off of that, there's like going to be 164 people playing. So one of the things about Invader, especially when you get into the elimination rounds, is we kind of have an idea of who most of these people are who are playing Invader. So you kind of know what their styles are and what lists you're going to see. But we realistically don't know 60 to 80 people whatsoever that are going to be at Worlds. And there's going to be a whole number of lists and local metas and things that are represented that we just have no experience with and have no idea how to counter.
I don't know about no
Less
idea,
I should say.
but I get where you're
Here we
going
go.
with that.
Mike, I can counter anything Barry. That's what we call it.
I don't know. Those tauntauns were pretty easy the other day.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's a valid point. Like last year, we kind of saw Sabs and medics come onto the scene, for the first time at Adepticon. So, that was something that Daniel Lupo had been crushing people with locally, but obviously he didn't play Invader League, and it's not something that a lot of people were expecting. So I'm sure there'll be at least one or two like actually successful sort of new list archetypes that show up. I'm sure that there will be many more suboptimal unusual skew type builds that people show up with that could also catch people by surprise, but maybe aren't as consistent across like an 8-game, 10-game tournament. But
I mean, I'd like to see Jin on the other side of the table with my short troopers. That would make me feel good.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me like. There's going to be some lists where you're like, "Wow, that's really interesting and unexpected. I'm not quite sure what to do with this." And then there are going to be others where it's like, "Wow, that's really interesting and unexpected. I know exactly what to do with this." So
I think my major concern in, to piggyback off of the, units and Mike's idea of 30 days out too, is that like, Brendan, he's great at what he does. Don't get me wrong, but Brendan's only one guy, and I'm sure he'll get a judge team together. That would be great. But I think you're going to end up running into a lot of rules questions, and during a, timed event like it's going to be, you really need those questions to be hammered out pretty fast. But with all sorts of new units possibly being out, it's going to be very, very interesting on how many times the judge gets called and how much time that takes away from your game and stuff like that. And I think you need to be prepared for that.
yeah, I think that's especially going to be true if Vital Assets drops shortly before Worlds.
Yeah, the cards we've seen from Vital Assets so far are not trivial. Like, they look sort of complicated, frankly.
Well, and I'll say this too. So we got, I don't mind saying it again. We got yelled at for saying it the first time, but my concern about how the primes and RPQs work in general is that you can have, and I'll use us as an example. You can have someone from here, from upstate New York, at some local shop that ended up with a prime and RPQ, get a Worlds invite, and come and play at Worlds, but they've been like insulated into their local group, because we, Evan and I up here in upstate New York, we've played pretty much everyone that plays around here in any like capacity as far as, going to tournaments and stuff. And so we know everybody here and we share information among those people. And so one of my concerns isn't that you're not going to be good enough to play at Worlds, but that how many times have you guys run into people at LVO or Adepticon last year where they were running a rule like completely wrong because everyone in their group ran that rule that way?
Oh,
right.
Lots of times. Like, I still run into people today that like firmly don't understand the cover rules, and it's just because like their local meta thought it, the rule was one thing, and it, the rules can be kind of tough to analyze if you're not going over them with a fine-tooth, comb, and so there's stuff that gets missed all the time.
Yeah, and go ahead.
And
sorry.
Well,
I was gonna say like stuff like that, or even like hitting like getting sabotage moisture evaporators, and you think you can spend both your actions to wound or heal it. Like there's all kinds of crazy stuff that people do or think that they can do that you can't.
Yeah, I think that's going to come up with Vital Assets too. Like, I think you can read the Hostage Exchange card on there, and it's just, you read the card and it's not real apparent what is actually going on until you like put the stuff on the table and start doing things. Which, that's fine. We need more complicated stuff involved in the game. But if you haven't played with it a ton, or your local group like misinterprets how it's actually supposed to go, which I think is a real possibility, and then you get to Worlds and you're like, oh, this is how this works, and it's turn 2 and things have gone horribly.
Yeah, it could turn into a gotcha moment when you don't really expect it to.
Or you're planning to do like your whole plan, your whole turn 0 setup and deployment was all based around this misconception that you had of how it worked, and now you're basically in turn 2 you find out how it actually works, and you've completely misplayed and it's over.
Yeah, I guarantee you at least one time R2 is going to get bountied because not everybody checks the rules errata or knows that forum threat exists. Like there's going to be at least one time where someone's like, I bounty R2, and the opponent's like, all right.
Thanks. So speaking of things like that, what do you guys think about this? That it's Worlds for FFG, right? So I would think that somebody from FFG's development team should actually be at Worlds to be the final voice on questions. Because if a unit's only been out for, say, 11 days, even Brendan might not know all the ins and outs of it.
Alex
might need that higher power.
So I would hope that somebody's there again this year. I mean, it was really cool to have him there last year, and while he wasn't like an official judge or anything, he gave his input when he felt it was needed or necessary.
Like that Darth Vader
Right.
force push.
Yes, just like that.
Okay, let's break for another message from the community.
Hi, my name is Tim. You may know me as Crabok. You can find me at crabok.com or YouTube channel Crabok, Crabbok, and I love Star Wars Legion. Some of the things I love about Star Wars Legion is the painting and hobbying aspect of Legion, as this was one of my first real hobbyist games that caused me to try to elevate my painting game a little bit, and I'm still not there yet, but I do really enjoy that. And as a matter of fact, it's one of the few things I don't make YouTube videos about very often. A lot of times when I paint, I just do that for myself, and that's kind of my serenity and my relaxing time. Another thing I love about Legion is the terrain, the way it uses terrain in these really awesome ways, the flexibility it gives you with terrain, and also some of the terrain that I've been able to start working on or have like 3D printed and support some of our amazing community that makes terrain. The terrain aspect, setting up, letting my kids kind of come in and help build tables, it's just super, super fun. So those are some of the things that I love about Legion. Things I'm thankful about in regards to Legion, well, I want to give a couple of shout outs to some people. So first off, I want to thank Josiah Burkhartsmeyer. He hooked me up with an SN Obi-Wan, which was really, really amazing. And I really appreciate the thought and the effort that it took for him to bring that back from Germany for me. So I feel very, very lucky because I know they didn't make very many of those. And, it's definitely a luxury to be able to have something like that. So thanks to Josiah. I also want to thank some of my friends that kind of have been with me along this journey of tabletop gaming. I want to thank my friend Sean, who is a big part of a lot of my battle reports. Yeah, you probably recognize him from probably more than half of my battle reports are against him. I also want to thank my friend David, who brought me deeper into the world of tabletop gaming when I used to only play X-Wing. It kind of was a gateway mechanism for me to discover a larger world of gaming, which led to basically being more open-minded and exploring more games, which has led me to games like Star Wars Armada and Star Wars Legion and lots of other games that I might not have discovered otherwise. Also, I have to thank my wife for being so supportive during my time working on YouTube and playing all these games and letting me buy all of these games and letting me go play and leaving her with 3 kids while I go out to a store and play games for a couple hours during the day. And of course, letting me just fill our garage up with boxes upon boxes and paints and miniatures and all of that nonsense. So she's an amazing partner to have in life. So a big thank you to my wife, Sarah. Now, my Christmas list regarding Legion, well, I don't really, I already know the stuff that's coming out in December, so my Christmas list is a little different. I don't have any specific things in mind for Legion that I'd like to have under my tree or in my stocking, but I am hoping to see some new announcements, particularly Darth Maul. I really want more lightsaber wielders in this game, and while I do expect we will get a lot more, I'm anxious to see them. I'm anxious to see how maybe sculpts might look, what their abilities might look like, and I even did a really, really silly goofball video advocating for Darth Maul, so I really want to see Darth Maul in the game. I want a Gungan army. I want Gungans announced. I mean, sub-factions as a whole would be awesome. I think the Mandalorian's going to possibly pave the way for a lot of cool sub-faction-based things, but I really want to see them Gungans. And, that would be awesome. And I think that's all the stuff I could think of. There's a whole lot more that I probably want, but I'm also spoiled, and I think of things that I want all the time. So you gotta just be grateful for what we have.
Hey everybody, my name is LJ Pena of Discord fame, Invader League fame, LVO fame. Happy to talk to you and give you a little introduction about myself and talk for the 5th Trooper tonight. if you don't know me, I'm involved in a lot of different projects in the community as well as running various tournaments throughout the circuit. There's a lot of stuff that I'm involved with. Started with the Legion Discord, and I also moved on to running the online Invader League and also to running in-person tournaments such as the Las Vegas Open and helping with Adepticon last year. I am here to talk about, what I'm thankful for and why I love Legion. Right now, when I look at those questions, I love Legion because I can run Grievous and Dooku in the same list. And that's no joke. That's just the way I feel about it. Seeing, those classic characters on the table together is honestly what makes it for me sometimes. And just the theme that is soaked into almost every aspect of the game is a big reason why I'm so excited to play it every time I put my armies on the table. And, that's honestly a big thing that I'm thankful for, is that I have an outlet to where, I can be excited about that. And not only that, but I can share that excitement with other people and get to interact with, so many amazing community members on basically a daily basis, and apart from that, my Christmas list, I had to think about this for a minute, but now that I've enjoyed said Grievous Dooku list so much, my Legion Christmas list is most definitely 6 Sith upgrade packs, because man, those personal expansions are going to stack up when you try to run all of them. But 6 radiation cannons just sounds like a bucket of fun, as well as maybe rocking the 6 snipers with Grievous and Dooku. Look out for that list, and hopefully I'll have it ready by Adepticon this year.
All right, so that's some more of our good friends in the community. I think that's we were talking earlier about things that we love about Legion, and one of the things that I love is our community. Like, sure, everyone's got good spots and bad spots, but I would say that 95% of the community, the content community, is great. Like, I don't know, everyone's been cool to me for the most part, and I enjoy talking to them, and I enjoyed having them on to do this as well.
You can just say my name if I'm the 5%, Jay. It's okay.
It was specifically you. Yeah. I just wanted you to know, like, in a non-direct way, that this is your last episode. So
Third time's the charm.
So Merry Christmas, you're fired.
Oh, thanks.
No, so what our last little topic here before we hit some more of the community stuff in part 1 is I'd like to hear from all of us. I'm sure everyone out there has that unit or that thing that they would love to see in Legion from Star Wars. And so I thought we could also do that same thing. And why don't I kick this one off to Evan first? Evan, what's something that you would love to see on the table in Legion?
Gungans. Straight Gungans. We were just at Jay's a little while ago playing some games, and he put on some Star Wars movies while we were playing, and we all looked up at the end of episode 1, and you see like the Gungan Force. And as much as like unfortunately Jar Jar's become like the butt of most jokes, their giant shield generators and their Boombas and all their soldiers actually look pretty cool when you see them all lined up. So I remember Alex a long time ago in I think it was last Gen Con or last Adepticon actually mentioned that Gungans might be a sub race or a sub faction. So it'd be really cool to see one of those big shield generator creatures on the field getting pushed up by like random Boomba launchers or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. So when we were over here playing, I was like, I would straight put that army on the table like today. I wouldn't even care.
Right? It looks super cool. And they made that in the rules. It says huge base for creature troopers, like in the actual rules. So like deep down, I'm like, please don't be a Rancor, please be a Gungan shield generator.
Well, and they had, like when we were watching it, we were just like, okay, there's your infantry, there's your cavalry, there's your tanks. Like they had all the makings that Legion has, so you could find a character or unit for each one of those areas, and I think that would be super cool.
Agreed.
So Zach, you're up. What would you love to see on the table for Legion?
I'm gonna make this one a cop out. As everyone knows,
you son of.
I'm known as Thrawn on the Discord. I'm a huge Thrawn fan, and I've been convinced this past week that he does fit Legion a little bit more in the new canon. So Thrawn is definitely a character I'd love to see, and I've already painted my Veers as a Thrawn, so I guess I have, if Thrawn ever came out, I'd have to, think about maybe repainting Veers, but Thrawn on the table would be great. I think his, possibility on some command cards and some ways he interacts on the game would be fantastic. I really don't think old Thrawn would fit well in Legion, but new Thrawn, when I think about it, he does. And I'd be super excited to see him.
Yeah, so I'll do mine real quick, and then we'll kick it to the other boys. Mine is the TIE Strikers from Rogue One, like the things that were on Scarif that were fighting the X-wings. And I always ask Evan this because Evan's the X-wing player, but I'm like, I think those are atmosphere only, like in atmosphere only ships, just like the air speeders. And Evan's always like, yeah, it never made sense why they were in X-wing, like we don't understand. And so I would love for the Empire to have an airships. I mean, I know we've had a lot of problems with the with the airspeeder there, and it not being great in Legion or good at times. But I really hope that I would love to see some air power for the Empire or for any of the other factions, but I'd love to see some more flying stuff on the board. That would be cool.
It'd be interesting because it does have a bomb slot, so they could introduce a new mechanic like some sort of bomb or right, because bombs
like an area effect or
so
something.
It'd be interesting to see
Mhm.
like a carpet bomb maybe. That'd be interesting.
Yeah. All right, let's kick it to Mike Dashes Berry.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go with something considerably newer. I have played through Jedi Fallen Order. It is an amazing game. I really recommend it to anybody that hasn't played it yet. If you have some type of machine that will run it, I really want to see the second sister in this game. I think she was a really cool character, and I think the Empire has some, openings for cheaper force units that are like, I don't know, less than 200 points. So yeah, that's kind of what I would like to see.
Let's go with Mike Ghostwalking.
I'm a little disappointed because Second Sister was going to be my answer there. But I would also like to see a Wookiee army. That little scene in Revenge of the Sith when they have the Kashyyyk Beach infiltration, there's clearly a number of different Wookiee subtypes that they could make. And they're like my favorite models that I have painted. There's something that's thematically cool about a Wookiee running across a table and ripping up a stormtrooper. So if we could have, like a couple Wookiee commanders, maybe one of their flying vehicles and some, straight bowcaster Wookiees, I think that would be a nice addition to the game. Maybe like a Rebel or Republic sub-faction.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I don't enjoy all of the prequels, I enjoy parts of them. There's definitely a ton of stuff in there for Legion. That's for sure. So there's tons of options for other factions or sub factions, I think. But Kyle, what about you?
I'd love to see Rebels get like a vehicle commander, someone that is good with like ATRTs or something like that. Like a Veers, like a Rebel Veers. I think that'd be neat. Just because I feel like right now it's everything is trooper based. And even more so than that, it's like the Luke and Leia show still. It'd just be nice for Rebels to get some more commander variety.
Like, should peasants really have vehicles? I don't know.
Yeah, Rebels are the worst.
Poor David is not here to defend the land speeder that took 5 crits.
I mean, look, I think last year my answer was I'd love to see the T-47 be great again. It got a nice points drop, which is helpful, but I think it's still being hurt by the fact that Rebels don't have a Veers. And
being able to use dodge tokens for crits would be helpful. I
mean, not even specifically. Yeah, that'd be cool. So that make Z6 troopers decent again, right? Like, I'm a historical Z6 lover. I'm an old man clutching my Z6 in my slow to change hands, but yeah, I don't know. One of those two things. I
All
think would be
right.
cool.
Well, do you guys have anything else that you would like to say that was on topic for this episode?
Yeah, I can throw something in real quick. I would like to see.
boy.
It's good stuff. Don't worry. I'd like to see
All right.
more attendance at primes. I think it'd be great to maybe advertise a little bit more so that we can have more 12-person primes instead of 6 to 8, just to help spread the word and build the communities. So I think that would be a cool goal for 2020 that the entire community could actually reasonably attain if we move forward together to get to double-digit prime averages.
Well, you can come down to Virginia anytime.
Apparently, there's
I
a
do monthly.
20-person prime in Vancouver coming up. They already have I think 24 people signed up or something like that. So that's good to see that they're getting that much pre-attendance. Of course, when the day comes, hopefully they all show up. But seems like it's going to be a pretty big day out there in Vancouver.
Yeah, well, the problem is with a lot of things with FFG, they kind of do their thing and then hand it off to everyone else to kind of push it forward.
Yep.
So I think like a lot of the primes and RPQs, it's like I as a store pay X dollars to get it, and then it's up to me to generate the people to come. And FFG puts in the little like booklet for the RPQ anyways, like you should have enough table space for at least 20 players. And I think at our RPQ way back, I mean it's almost a year ago now, but back in May, like we had 12. And it was like, okay, this is good, but it's not, the store owner was like, yeah, they said there was going to be 20,
Yeah.
And so it's hard for store owners if you're not connected to the community in any way. Like if you're not a huge Legion player, but you own a store and you have Legion guys coming in, it's like, okay, how do I promote this to get more people there? And so there needs to be, maybe FFG or somebody needs to step up and like really start promoting these stores and really pushing them to the forefront and saying, hey, next month, here's the primes. And maybe that's our job. And maybe we need to do a better job of doing that too.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the thing that we need to keep in mind is that Fantasy Flight Games is first and foremost a company that makes board and miniatures games at this point. They organized play has never been and is not now like a huge focus for them. Like it's clearly more of a focus than it was last year. But they've been going through a lot of changes with the organized play department over the last couple of years, and I don't know. It's just this isn't an esport level of thing yet. It would be awesome if it could eventually get there, but I do think that's a little bit of a pipe dream, at least for the next few years.
It's my Christmas wish, Mike.
I know.
So there.
There you go. Jay's Christmas wish, everybody.
All right. I don't think that one's coming true, but one can hope.
Yeah.
Don't tell David that.
I mean, the one thing about primes and that was all positive. I guess the one thing that you could say about attendance is somewhat hurt by the way that primes and RPQs work with invites. And I think, all of us can say that we're kind of hesitant to go to other primes or RPQs because we know, people in the area that are going, and we don't want to take their chance away from, their chance at Worlds. So I think that's another factor in the attendance issue per se. But I don't really know how you fix that. It's just, something that's just, I think, always going to be there.
Yeah, I don't think there's a real good way to fix that generally. And I don't know. I mean, I think that we're in like a weird space this year where we had the RPQs and then we had like a second round of primes, and I think that was, I mean, I don't know, but that felt weird to me and kind of awkward. And I feel like typically we're probably only going to have one round of those as opposed to two in a season. If I had to make an educated guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's explicitly how it was supposed to work when they originally announced the concept of the world structure, right? Is that each store can host one qualifying event each year. whether that's, at the time that was RPQs, then they initiated the prime structure. And it sounds like at least this competitive season, stores got basically a second shot to host another tournament. So in theory, you're getting like twice as many. So I could see next year them essentially saying like, look, this competitive season, you get one prime. Primes are not changing in name again. They're going to be primes, and you get one over your course of your competitive season, and that could also help just increase the individual attendance because there will be less invites to go around. So,
well, and Evan, what was that thing you were talking about with X-Wing that they do?
With what for X-Wing? I talk about X-Wing.
Where they put the they stop the season like a couple months before Worlds or something like that.
Oh yeah, they do like kind of off seasons where there's not like constant Worlds invites or anything, so you actually get a few months just to breathe and not constantly be worrying for your next invite. So right now, the system opens are kicked up, but the store championships are not. So right now you've got a few months off before you need to start worrying about store championships again. Like with Legion lately, it's been like you can plan a whole year out, right? Of just primes and where to go to get to them. With X-Wing, like they usually do them toward the end of the year, so you can kind of just pick a list and figure it out. And you're not like running all over the place.
Well, anywho, that is our view of the world from the 5th Trooper Network this holiday season. This has been part 1 of our 2-part holiday episode. You can catch the second part tomorrow on the 5th Trooper podcast. We will talk to you tomorrow.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year!